Today, Veterans Day, let us seize this opportunity to offer our heartfelt thank you to America's former soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard men. For 232 years, they protected the rich and seamless fabric of freedom, woven on the loom of conflict, washed in the blood of patriots, and preserved in times of peace through their fidelity and service to the cause of liberty.
Heavenly Father, on this sacred day of remembrance and tribute, we assemble here to give our thanks and praise to Thee for your many blessings and constant regard for this nation and her citizens. We especially offer our gratitude for those who have served faithfully in the armed forces of the United States, so many of whom have given their lives to preserve our freedom. We pause now to honor particularly the veterans of the Korean conflict and to dedicate this memorial to pay homage for their service.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Don Whistler. Many of you know Don, a lifelong resident of Scotch Plains, and most recently he had I'll call it a Herculean effort in terms of putting together a fundraiser for dedicating our Korean War Veterans Memorial Clock. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Whistler, an Army veteran of the Korean War.
Thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for all who donated to the clock fund. We exceeded what we wanted to collect, and I'm speechless. In fact, I'm quite nervous right now. This crowd is wonderful. If you're a Korean veteran, please stand up to be recognized. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you coming out. President Reagan made a little talk at the Arlington Cemetery on November 11th in 1985. His statement was, "It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country in wars far away. The image plays tricks. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise. We see them as something the founding fathers, grave and gray hair. But most of them were boys when they died. They gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one that they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave their chance to reserve old men. They gave up everything for this country and for us. All we can do is remember." In 1950 to 1953, there was a police action which involved millions and you and me. Thousands were wounded and buried thousands more, and we buried thousands more as it became known as the Forgotten War. They dedicated a memorial in 1995 for heroes forgotten and those who died. Always remember, believe it no more, it was not a police action, it was a war. I thank everybody for coming out, especially those people that have donated to the cause.
Congratulations, Don. I'm pleased to see we're actually telling time there. Let us all pray that that continues. Don, I've said it before, you are to be recognized for, as Joe said, a Herculean effort, but absolutely almost a single-handed effort over these many weeks and months to get us to this day today. And I think the presence of all citizens assembled here, perhaps in numbers 10 to 20 times greater than I've ever seen on a Veterans Day here in Scotch Plains, is a tribute to that effort and to you. Another round of applause for Don Wessler. I've said it time and time again, so as long as there is evil in this world, there will always be a need for the brave men and women in our armed forces to put themselves on the line for what is good in this world. And certainly what is good in this world is the precepts on what this nation was founded upon.
48 million of our fellow citizens earned our gratitude by donning our nation's uniform. They are our ancestors laid down in their eternal resting places. They are the greatest generation. They are mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters, our neighbors and our countrymen across the nation. They are our warriors still missing in action, and they are our former POWs finally released to liberty's loving arms. And they are our armed forces on the front lines of freedom half a world away. So on this Veterans Day, we thank them all.
I am so pleased with the turnout and the support that we got. Just fabulous. A beautiful day, the sunshine, the clock looks great, and it's on time. I just can't thank everybody enough. It's just a fantastic day.
Well, we're all very proud, both of his service in Korea, in the Army, and all the things he's done here in Scotch Plains, and especially today for the dedication of this clock today.
Well, as a veteran and a neighbor of Don Wessler's, I was very happy to see his dream come true for this. And as Joe pointed out earlier, he really worked hard over the last 9 months and raised a lot of money to put this thing together. And I think it looks great here in front of Town Hall. And it'll be something to remember the Korean War veterans with for hopefully forever.